Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
And this is Aaron. I go by Treffinwood on Discord.
And welcome back to another riveting episode of Infamous. As always, links in the show notes. Quick news today.
Hey,
news!
Yes. News!
We got a little bit of news. Aaron, are you aware of this?
I am not aware of anything.
I assume this is official. I saw it on Facebook.
Must be true.
Guardians of the Galaxy affiliation box is finally coming out.
Oh, that I saw you.
Okay. Were you as concerned as I was? As what the box includes?
I was not as concerned as you. Why?
I'm more concerned about what direction will steer new players in. The box apparently is Star-Lord, Groot, Rocket, and Cosmic Ghost Rider. You know, the list.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty spot on. I don't see why we would do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Here is your 3-point leader. Here's your kaiju. Enjoy.
Mm-hmm. And here's a 2-point that does damage of a 4-pointer. They should have put Nebula and Rocket in there just to say fuck it. Like, kill everything. All right. So in local news, I put up a poll for what kind of tournament we want to run. I was wanting to go over that a little bit if you don't mind.
I, in fact, do not mind.
Okay, good. So I had 7 options here. We'll just go over the breakdown. The first is just basic standard. Everyone knows. Second is Battle Realms, which we tend to like around here in the Kansas City meta. Then the third is doing something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I might still do it even though it wasn't voted very high, is pick ban on missions. And so basically when you get to the table and you roll for priority with your opponent and someone chooses the extract versus secure, you just reveal all of your missions face up. Starting with the player with priority, they ban one of the opposing missions, and then vice versa. The opponent will then ban one of their missions. Then you will just choose of your 2 remaining which one you want to play. And so by effect, you will each be playing on the second most beneficial mission for you. So the middle of the 3. And you'll never get to play on the best for you, but you also never have to play on the worst for you in that particular matchup. I think that would be a good way of doing it, at least to try. The fourth option is Aaron's favorite. No 6+ threat models are allowed.
I did, in fact, vote for that one.
I know you did. I looked. Next up, we have modified scoring, in which we would change the way that scenario victory points would be scored slightly, both through potentially changing the way objectives are stolen and also affecting the maximum number of points that someone could score off of a single crisis. And so, for example, like Senators would be like capped at 3 or 4 instead of 6. Next up, we have non-meta models. And so this was something I saw from Nikki in our Discord, and one of his locals is running this format, is they're just banning the top 25 most played models from LVO, and then they're just running a tournament with those models not being allowed. So that's interesting. I thought that would be kind of fun, which conveniently also hits a lot of the problematic 6-pointers. And then we've got the final one is modified affiliation battle, where you're allowed to play any models in your roster, but the squad you field would have to be fully affiliated with itself. But the cool thing about that is you can use stuff like reserve member or sleeper agent, stuff like that can change your affiliation. That would actually work for this format. The only downside I see to this is that it heavily encourages you to play affiliations that have huge rosters, like Avengers, and then conveniently also having a card that makes someone an Avenger. So obviously it's not super balanced, but I think it's fun.
Look at you fixing AMG's game for them.
I know, right? So, do you want to talk about the individual options, or do you want to just talk about how people voted?
No, okay. I want to give you my feedback on each option.
All right.
That's what I want to do. But you need to sit down first and take a Viagra, because it's about to get hot and heavy in here.
Oh, God. All right, hit me. Which one you will go first?
I got to find the poll. I was just listening to you. In order.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go in order.
All right, go ahead. It's in the MCP general chat.
You forgot the golden rule of podcasting. Silence is golden. Number 1, standard. Yeah. If we play standard, I would not show up. I am out on MCP in all ways, shapes, or forms until until the new Crisis comes out, and then I will reevaluate.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of in that phase right now.
Number 2, Battle Realms is a better version of Standard, but nonetheless Standard. So does not really pique my interest.
But Aaron, you can ban their 6th threat.
Mm-hmm. One.
You can actually ban. No, you can ban a lot of their 6 threats, assuming they don't pick them first.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, pick ban missions. Obviously, I think I like something like this, whether you pick ban missions or whether the TO just randomly draws and everyone plays on X and Y, whatever the TO pulls out of a hat. Something to kind of shake a tournament up, make it a little less predictable, is at the very least worth trying because we haven't done it. That could be in addition to, or it could be by itself, Standard with pick ban, or it could be combined with Battle Realms, modified scoring, whatever the case may be. Ban on 6 threat models is clearly a format I'm interested in. Obviously, there is still the caveat that that just make, like, say, webs super good. The answer is maybe TBD. I need to see that before I get fed up with the game completely. But
yeah, on this one specifically, my biggest problem has always been if you restrict almost like an economy in one way, it's obviously going to have an effect that you're probably hoping for, right? Like, obviously not allowing 6 threats, you don't have to deal with these particular models that are generally problems in the meta. But by doing so, you're effectively just making the next guy on the block a king. And so the 5-pointers now start running the table because they don't have to compete with 6 threats anymore. And obviously it's on a different scale because 6 threaters are different than 5 threats. Mm-hmm. Like, they're on a whole nother level above that. But there's also a lot of 6 threats that are really not offensive at all. Like, She-Hulk's not running the table on people. Magneto's not doing anything. Like, and so within reason, like, there's a lot of those that aren't a big deal. Like, Strange with the Time Stone is definitely not a meta-bending model. But the ones that are meta-bending, like you said, are worth at least taking a look at in this kind of situation.
Yep. Modified scoring, changing objective stealing or maxing points per turn. I would advocate not for this. This is probably one of my least favorite on the list. Especially with new objectives coming shortly. Like, let's just play with what we have on the way out the door. Again, I'm totally fine for, like, the pick ban missions, stuff like that, but I wouldn't want to screw with how the missions themselves are.
Yeah, changing functionality with when they're only going to be legal for another month.
Banning the top 25 play characters, I would also probably show up for that one too. I think just banning the 6 threats is easier, cleaner. There are probably some top 25 play models that aren't worthy of a ban, just like some 6 threats, like Magneto, probably aren't worthy of a ban. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that would also interest me. And then the last one, modified affiliation battle, I think is bad for the reasons you already stated. Congratulations, Hydra and Avengers. Why would you bring anything else?
Oh, surely Cabal's playable, right?
Yes, there is other stuff that's playable, but there's a whole litany of stuff that is really hurt. Like,
right. So the thing I was hoping people would explore if we did something like that was there are dual affiliations you can play. Like, you can play Avengers and Defenders because they have so much overlap that you can easily put a squad down that's affiliated with both, even, let alone, like, pick one after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was hoping we might see, like, X-Force Weapon X, or, X-Force X-Men, Defenders Avengers, Cabal Hydra. There's a lot of stuff you can do like that. Not to mention by just throwing in, Mephisto, Dracula, Emma, and Dormammu, you can get really complex rosters that have 2 or 3 even affiliation drops within them. And that's what I was hoping we'd get people looking at, but I don't think anybody read past affiliated. I think they just saw that line and it's like, nope, I'm done, and they just didn't vote it.
But, like, Thralls of Dracula is not an affiliation.
It's not? What do you mean? Am I crazy?
I'm probably wrong here.
It's Legion of the Lost, right? Thralls of Dracula. When this card is included in your squad, if your squad is unaffiliated and includes Dracula, you may play this card. Your squad is now using Thrall of Dracula's affiliation regardless of affiliated characters. Yeah, so it'd probably have to be like a line of text that explains that stuff works.
Yeah, because it doesn't give them an affiliation.
Right. Yeah, so I have to put that in there, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah. you could probably jump through a lot of hoops to run some sort of dual affiliated roster. The easy button is just to pick a big long affiliation and just play, mono affiliated.
Sure.
And that was it. So that's my feedback on your proposals.
Mm-hmm. So just taking a look at voting, we didn't get a lot of engagement. We got a little bit. We had 2 people wanted standard, which is one of our newer guys, and CJ. I don't know what's up with CJ. Crazy person.
I understand people new to the game just want to play the game as
yeah.
published. I have no issues with that.
Discord is being annoying and not letting me see this one, so I'm going to have to click on it. Okay. Again, 2 of our newer guys are voted for non-meta models. I think that's a good pick. And then we're by far our most with 6 votes was the no 6 threats. I was surprised how many people voted for no 6 threats.
I preach truth. I don't know what else to say.
No, I mean everyone agreed. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just surprised that people hate 6 threats so much. Because I think Thanos has really had a big backseat, at least in our meta lately. And I think I don't really see that many 6 threats. I see Thor 2 played an okay amount. And outside of that, I don't, and Hulk gets played, but I'm just surprised that I don't remember seeing that many 6 threats. Joke's on you guys, because my list doesn't even have any 6 threats in it. Actually, the list I played before this also didn't have any 6 threats in it. But yeah. How would you feel if I did no 6 threats and pick ban missions? You think that's fine?
Yeah.
You should vote for pick ban missions.
I'm going to vote for 2? I normally don't vote for 2.
Did you read it? It says vote for each you would like.
I know. But I just said I don't normally vote for 2.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Fine. Pick ban. You got to vote. You get a pity vote.
Pity vote?
Only because I saw you take that Viagra, so.
Mm-hmm. That's expensive. It's like $9. All right. Well, that's so we will be doing the no 6 plus threats for our February tournament, which very conveniently was on the 1st of February. No downtime. We're going straight into it.
Yep.
I think technically we got a couple. No, we talked about that last time. The new spoiled missions for Way of Kings, or what is it War of Kings? What's the box called? I'm looking it up.
Okay.
War of Kings. Okay. Yeah, we already talked about these. And you refuse to talk about the new stuff. Are you at all excited? Do you like the design space of the new missions?
In a nutshell, I'm going to say yes.
They appear to me to be a little bit more simplified than the old missions. And so so far we've seen less like crazy strong effects where like Mayor Fisk researcher, stuff like that, Legacy virus, like there's no like, oh, by the way, score 8 victory points on this mission. You're like, excuse me? And like there's none of that kind of stuff so far. We haven't seen all of them, obviously, but all right. So we have this week we're coming out with Yondu and Nova and Elsa and Man-Thing. Have you thought at all about these new models?
I mean, I'm really excited to put Man-Thing on the table. And I know Parker's excited to put Elsa on the table, so I've done some theory crafting about how to kill her as quickly as possible. Just to make Parker really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that,
completely immortal, like he predicted, like unable to take damage.
Right, DR6, is that what he said?
Mm. I tried to explain to him so hard. He's like, no, Parker, you can't have a model that's immune to damage. It's not possible. He's like, but you never know. It's like, no, we do know. Like, it's obvious. That's never going to be a thing. How, do you want to talk about some of the ways you've thought about using Man-Thing?
I haven't really thought about using him.
Okay.
I lied.
I was excited.
Okay. All
right. So for killing Elsa Bloodstone, we need energy damage.
So good thing a Guardians pack is coming out.
Mm-hmm. I think there's several people that are actually excited to play Elsa. There's been a lot of people at the store chatting about using her leadership, which does look fun.
I think leadership is very, very interesting. I really like that design space. Right? Pay 1, do 1 of 3 things. Neither of which is completely broken, but they're all situationally good when you want them to be.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, man. I'm sure we talked about this when we first talked about Man-Thing. Did you see his name? Theodore Salas?
I'm sure I saw it. Do I
That's
remember
up
it?
there on the list
No.
for terrible names.
Well, who created the name? I'm sure
Who
Mark
originally
knows.
wrote Man Thing?
Yeah.
Created by Stan Lee, Roy Thomas, and Gary Conway.
Okay.
And artist Cray Morrow. Came out in 1971.
I still think he's cracked as shit.
Really?
Everything on his card is fine until you get to Moss and Mud and Swamp. That is not okay.
Yeah.
So it's really, really hard to spike him off the table because you don't explode crits. Like, how often does someone walk up to Black Cat and just delete her? They don't. You have to throw shit into her. Or you have to attack her twice. Like, she can fail. But just walking up and yeeting her off the board is probably not going to happen. Thing. Say what?
When CGR was doing his bullshit, like the best models at surviving CGR was Black Cat. It was so stupid. You just put Black Cat in cover and she just tanks him for like 2 turns.
So the fact that you can't explode your crits and you get healing factor 2. So if you go into him and like Black Cat is great at you just put chip damage onto her, right? So first of all, you don't attack her if she doesn't have 3 power. Second of all, if she does or she already has something, like yeah, you're probably not going to get off the board, but every little damage counts. So if she only has 5 health, you just kind of make her go down as quickly as you can. Man Thing, you go into him and do like 3 damage. He activates, heals 2 of it for free. Yeah. So maybe I'm overestimating how tanky Moss and Mud and Swamp it makes him. But just looking at Black Cat, and I realized the difference is you can reroll into him and not her.
Well, the big thing is most characters don't have native mods, and every character has native crits. And so it's always effective. Yeah.
That's why I think that's obviously not better than Black Cat, but probably the best of the 2 rules on her card got translated to him along with healing factor 2. I just look at that character and go, oh my god. Auto incinerate, don't even pay a power?
Yeah. For a 3-point model, I definitely agree with you. I think the most important part is the crits. When you're talking about protecting like a 5 or 6-point threat, I think it's more important that you prevent mods because they're going to be spending all of their resources attacking you. But yeah, the no crits thing is definitely relevant. Let's see. Do you think there's any value in doing like a really cheap, efficient tank team nowadays? Because you could put him in a team with like Groot and Lizard, and you have just so much beef for 9 points. And Groot could potentially heal all 3 of them.
Yeah. There was some chatter on someone's Discord, probably Muses, about the value of 4 die attacks. And I think they referenced Vince of Taco Truck, thinking 4 die attacks are vastly undervalued. Right? No one likes them, but again, as a shield player, if you throw enough of them, some of them are going to spike. So quantity over quality is definitely a strategy that can be very successful in the game. Not winning every game, but can be very successful. Putting a bunch of 3 threats out there, and his attack suite is right on par with a 3 threat. Right, range 35 dice, pretty good, better than some 3 threats, in fact.
Yeah.
So put 6 3s at 18 points out there, and we'll watch them do fun things, or make a 2 and a 4 and play it under Emma.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about Emma.
He's also Defenders, right?
Man Thing is Defenders and Midnight Suns. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could play him under either of the Daredevils. Well, sorry, Daredevil or Blade. If you wanted to try to combo him with, you said Lizard and Groot.
So you could play him in Defenders with Luke Cage and pick another tanky guy.
Yeah, that seems really, really good. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Man Thing, Groot, Lizard.
I'm kind of leaning towards Emma now that you brought that up, because, man, that's a lot of extra healing and power. And you just kind of molasses your way across the table. Now, obviously, it doesn't have the super hard punch, but I don't know that you really need it.
Depends what you're trying to
do. People aren't playing super... The only super tanky models in the meta right now are, like, Apocalypse and Thanos. I mean, Hulk will just melt to enough attacks. You don't need anything particularly strong. Yeah, because you could even do... Let's see, Emma, 17... So if you're playing at 19 threat, you could bring 5 3-pointers and Emma. And so you could do Man Thing, Lizard, Groot, Luke. Blob.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
I feel like I'm forgetting one of the 3-point tanks.
Drax?
Yeah, maybe. Drax is pretty tanky. Crossbones.
Yeah, right. So do you want to build this no 6-threat Hellfire list that you'll be taking on Saturday?
Oh, I already know what I'm playing on Saturday, and it's not that. I'm playing my Asgard list. Okay. My Go White Asgard. You should have seen the look on Tyler's face when he saw me building it. Because I was like, well, I'm building the best threes list. So the first model I get out is Ant-Man. He's like, what? It was so great. Ant-Man is still slept on.
It's really good.
Let's see. Actually, I don't know that I ever went over the list I decided to go with. Alright, so obviously Mighty Thor is the leader. Then I've got Lady Sif, Valkyrie, Scourge, and Heimdall. Although I don't know how often Heimdall will actually see the table, just because I think he's a little supporty for what I need.
Mm-hmm.
So it came down to the final Asgardian, because Bill is good, but I don't know if he does what I need him to do in the list. And then, so the option is kind of between Hela and Bill. And I think Hela's really interesting with this build. And so let me go over the other models real quick. Obviously, Zemo is just insane, so he's in. We've got Ant-Man and Wong, just because Wong is great with a spam list and also Asgardians.
Yep.
Who am I forgetting? I had somebody else in here. Anyway, though. Wong also enables potentially Mighty Thor doing a first turn charge. And then you've got, obviously Lady Sif can first turn charge, Valkyrie can first turn charge, Zemo can first turn charge. Hela doesn't technically charge, but she can walk up and do her thing and then hit you. And so it's basically a charge. And then Ant-Man can get basically anywhere on the table and still hit somebody.
Not wrong.
Yeah. So the whole concept of the list is not only is it an efficient fighting list, it has a crazy amount of tempo for being a lot of cheap models. Scourge and Heimdall don't do that, which is why they probably only make the list if I need to get affiliated. And I don't know which one that would be. Oh yeah, originally that was the other model in the list is Nebula. Because Nebula just can make so much value despite being a 2-pointer. And again, you're trying to go wide, you can get 2 2s on the board. I think originally we had talked about Wong being Toad instead just because he's an efficient 2. And we also talked about him being Honey Badger because obviously more fighting, but Honey Badger I think is the biggest liability of the 2s because she's the hardest to get work out of the fighty 2s and also doesn't contest, obviously.
Yep.
And at that point I had talked about maybe Bullseye, and then I remembered Wong existed, so we grabbed Wong. So I guess my question is, what do you think? Do you think Hela is better for the list, or is Bill still a potentially good option because he's just so efficient in general?
I think you need to have someone who can throw size 4 like that. I still think a character throw is the strongest ability you can print on a card. Probably stronger than charge. But those two are way up there.
I have a size 4 throw.
With Mighty Thor?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have another one.
So don't get me wrong, you're absolutely correct. Bill's throw is fabled in this game. It's such a big deal. It's literally the reason he was one of the strongest meta models for 2 years. There's absolutely no question that it's amazing.
I feel a butt coming on.
I mean, that's the question is a turn 2 size 4 throw worth that? Is it worth giving up an actual piece that synergizes with your team?
I don't know that she doesn't synergize, or I don't know. I'm not.
Well, because you're playing a wide list, so she's going to get more souls, right? Doesn't she get souls when your people die?
Yeah.
So you got that. She's got way higher tempo than Bill. Bill's a tempo killer, but he's tempo killer for your opponent too.
Yeah, when I have a list that's trying to do something, I like to put something in my 10 that gives me something else. Right? If I have 10 models to do the same fucking thing, then why did I bring them all?
Hela also brings mystic attacks.
You are correct. Is she your only Mr. Tagger?
Yes.
Then you keep Hell in.
All right, we did it. I
Okay.
convinced him. Hell is better.
That's not what I said.
I was still sad when I saw that she's still 4 health on the back. I don't know why I thought they fixed that. It's so annoying. She should be 12 health, not fucking 10.
And I think she has a role. I don't think she's bad, but I definitely
Mhm.
don't love her.
Yeah. I even considered Enchantress a little bit, just for the bow.
And then
I
you
just-
woke up and realized it was a
So,
nightmare.
yeah, the big problem being that like she's so squishy if your opponent has power or throws. Because unlike Mysterio, she doesn't dodge on her Mystic.
Power or throws.
Because they just spend so you don't use Mystic.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. All right. So, what do you think? Are there obvious problems with my list? Do you think is it a stupid concept? Is
No.
it playable?
I do not think it's stupid.
I love Lady Sif. I think she's a great model. I don't think
God,
enough
that
people-
model's let me down so much.
Really?
On paper, she's so good. Every fucking time I put her on the table. Probably
When I could-
a half dozen times. She should not get one rounded by some random 3-threat, but she did. And she does, like every time. And I'm like, okay, I have Prio, Lady Sif, go. Whatever her fucking version of I get rerolls, do it all. And just no.
Master Swordsman. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Dude.
fails.
So the first time I played against her, I think it might have been Josh. It was somebody, and she just died, and I don't know why. She died so fast. Then I played, like the last 3 games I played against her, she's been the MVP by far.
Okay.
Because it usually turns out, though, that people are like focusing Thor 2 or Loki or somebody, and so she just gets to do whatever she wants. And I don't know if that will be the case in my list. But yeah, like she's got all the stats you could want, right? Like she's got DR, rerolls, extra power, efficiency. Like she does everything.
Again, on paper, she's amazing. You should again, I have half a dozen games, which is a pretty small sample size given the nature of statistics and data. So, you should run her, and I hope she does well for you.
Are there any other 3-pointers you think are worth considering in this list?
Now you're gonna make me think harder about it.
So currently, I've got Ant-Man,
Hold on,
Zemo.
hold on. Okay. You have Zemo, Ant-Man. You're not gonna like it, but Black Cat and Miles should get consideration in any list to have at least one stealer. Black Cat's pretty damn tanky. I told you weren't gonna like it.
Miles, I'm not hard objectively against because he at least can fight, and he with Wong power can have turn 1 tempo.
And again,
still not a fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's either I just want to play, this version of the list. I don't want to do the stupid stealing stuff. Or you can just keep them in your back pocket as the counter to stealing it. You steal mine, I steal yours. We're gonna fucking play a game.
Mm-hmm. My counter to you stealing my objectives is playing Rainbow Bridge and killing you.
Okay, then great.
Gig my
you
shit
you
back.
don't need either of them.
It's probably not going to work. How about this? No, you wouldn't like that. I was going to say play Sam instead of Miles, but Sam's just a good model. Nobody plays him. He doesn't steal though. Trying to find somebody else who has good tempo.
Nope, you got him.
Proxima wouldn't be terrible.
Why?
She's got a little bit of tempo because she's got like move long, like jump at you for 5 dice. She's got DR.
Isn't it range 2?
No, her spear throws range 3 and she places range 1 after.
It's a 4 dice, right?
No, it's 5. Range 3, 5 dice, poison on a wild, place after the attack.
Huh.
And then her strike is 5 dice pierce. And then her spender's range 4, 6 dice. And it does bleed, poison, stun on damage.
Yep.
She's a really underrated model, but she has not aged as well as everybody else. I almost put Punisher in just because he's so efficient. And then you'd have Hela getting tokens off people, Punisher getting tokens off people.
Deadpool could work well.
Yeah, I thought a little bit about Deadpool, but
walk forward, shoot, leg day onto the point.
Yeah. I think I'd rather do Punisher if I was going to do that.
Okay.
I just don't know how often Heimdall's going to have value. I don't hate Scourge. I think Scourge is fine. He's just a little beat stick for a 3-pointer.
Sure. Neither of them are tempo models.
Yeah. At least Heimdall can teleport people, but again, he needs power for it, so it's rarely going to happen. When are you going to play Heimdall and Wong in the same list? And why wouldn't you just give the power to somebody else? Yeah, I just don't know. The rerolls are nice, though. Like, over time, he can get a lot of value out of them on all your 3-pointers that could use mods.
Yep.
But, I don't know. I'll have to test it. All right. Are you going to build your Hellfire tanky list?
We can. Okay.
All right. First sleeper pick for you.
Is it Emma?
No.
Okay.
No, it's an actual sleeper pick.
Okay.
Okoye. Because you can move turn 1, get an extra power off leadership and bodyguard.
You're not wrong. Okay. Okoye goes in the list.
And healing her is cute. Because her biggest problem nowadays is that she can't get power now, and then you can just give her power.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm also making a roster here. Let's see.
We're going to put in models and then take out what we don't need. Ant-Man goes in.
Toad?
No.
No Toad. Wong?
No.
Okay. 1-2 it is. Do you care at all about dealing damage to people?
Yeah.
Mordo?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right, now this one, you got to at least strongly consider. Baron Strucker.
Nope.
What?
I strongly considered it.
Aaron, no.
Convince
but you
me.
can. Deathspore virus. Poison their whole team. They can't hurt you.
We're done. Moving on.
No, he also has healing factor. Heals 2 around. He incinerates on his gun. He's so good. He has a healing spender. You really don't like this guy?
He's not bad.
Fine. All right, we'll get the better one later.
Okay.
Black Cat, 2 people you can't crit against.
Yes, Black Cat.
These are a Domino, 3 people you can't crit against.
Not Domino.
Not Domino. She's too good at fighting.
Yep. Groot.
Groot for sure.
Iron Man's a possibility.
Iron Man's solid. Lizard,
Put
obviously.
him in for now. Iron Man, Lizard, Luke Cage.
Yeah. Man Thing.
Okay, Miss Marvel.
Ooh, Encanto?
We're not in Encanto yet. We're in the M's.
Oh, I'm doing by threat level.
So am I.
Okay.
Oh, he's seeing I in Encanto?
In.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to him yet. I'm in the M's. I'm on Miss Marvel.
Yeah, that's a hard pass.
I know. You're a hard pass on her.
Mysterio would be interesting because his only problem is needing power. I don't know if he's tanky enough, but he's not squishy.
Yeah, we'll throw Encanto in for now.
I think you should consider Proxima, but
okay.
she's going to get cut, so. Ooh, Red Guardian.
Nope.
Wow, he counts blanks.
Nope. Blob.
Yeah. Taskmaster.
Nope.
He counts blanks. He gets two extra defense dice.
Nope.
You can't rapid fire him to death. It's not possible. He blocks like 5 on the second attack. War Machine just isn't good enough, but other than that, he's just really bad Iron Man.
Okay. I need some 4s now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say
Bill is traditional logic, I think. Crimson Dynamo would be fucking amazing. You get Disruption Field, and he gets to heal, and he gets more power. He'd be bad on like spread out missions, but
sure. We're only taking 2 4s though, so it's going to be Dynamo, and it could be Bill, it could be Black Panther. I really think I need a character throw.
I'd go with Panther. Well, I mean, you would only need the throw if you need to damage them, or they can't be pushed by Panther, which is size 4 enemies. Well, Groot can throw them. You're fine.
With a shit ton of power, you're right.
Hell yeah. Oh wait, doesn't Panther's explosive force push any size?
I think
There's
so.
only 3.
Yeah, it's pushed.
Yeah. There you go. Panther.
Okay, I don't like not having throws, but we can go with Panther. Okay, so we have Emma, Panther, Dynamo as our 4s. Okoye has a 2, and we need to narrow down to 6 3s. And we don't have anything above a 4 threat.
I'm only 5 characters over. I'm surprised it's not more.
I'm only 4 characters over, so you have one I don't.
Yeah, I put in Baron Strucker, I think, was
Probably.
the one you didn't take.
Okay, so you get to get rid of 2 people, and I'll get rid of 2 people.
All right.
You have to come up with them in your head before we talk about it. And Baron Strucker's already out.
Damn it. My boy. I only want him to be in because I originally tried to come up with the list that would just like slowly not die, and it was like Strucker and Groot, and I love that like it's already moving in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, are you trying to make this like a meta list, or are you
Nope.
trying to just do something fun?
A little of both. A fun list that will also be quasi-competitive.
Okay, well, I'm ready.
Okay, I have my 2 X's. Who's your first X?
Black Cat.
Ouch! Fuck
She's
you.
not tanky. She's just going to collect everything throwable, and if you need to steal to win the game, you're a bad player.
Okay. My next cut is Ant-Man.
No, what?
Not being able to pick stuff up really makes him sad in Hellfire. I think there are a lot of places he does really well with. If I have to cut someone from this list, I just don't think he's the best fit for it.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Who's your next cut?
Proxima. I just think you have too many good tanky 3s already, and I don't think she'll ever make the cut.
Okay, and my last cut is Iron Man.
Ooh, but he moves your any size.
He does, but I played way too much Iron Man in my past, and playing him without Avengers Assemble, like the one thing that helps him get back onto points when he gets moved off of them. I think he's really good under Emma, but I would be much happier, I think, playing some of the other models that don't often see the table.
Like
and I
Black
don't.
Panther.
Okay, so some models are meta, but
yeah, my next cut would have been Black Panther. I don't think you need multiple 4s.
So I want the ability to run 2 4s.
Mm-hmm.
With
and you just have an alternate
with the points, and I want the alternate. Yeah, so that's. I don't see myself running all 3 of them, but having the difference between Dynamo for protection and Panther for say chasing down Web Warriors. I love Panther and the Web Warriors.
It's also the good dichotomy of like Crimson's really good on a central point, Black Panther's really good on a flank, and so that works out well.
Okay, so the list is Emma, Okoye, Groot, Lizard, Luke Cage, Man-Thing, Encanto, The Blob, Crimson Dynamo, and Black Panther.
Yep.
Now, I noticed that we are slightly susceptible to energy damage.
Nah.
Why
do you think that?
Groot, Encanto, and The Blob all have 2s.
Yeah, Man-Thing's not.
No, you could always choose to run Lizard, Luke Cage, and Man-Thing, right? As your core 3.
Yeah. So, like, Groot and Blob are arguably weak to energy, but, like, Blob's just really strong to physicals the way I look at it.
Yep.
Like, because most energy attacks are ranged attacks, and if you're shooting Blob, I guess if you're outside range 3, it's not so bad.
No, like,
but yeah,
Star-Lord
that's definitely a roster construction thing. You have to recognize that for sure. Encanto also being energy 2 is relevant.
Again, we have 3 3s that are not.
Yeah, but like Luke, Lizard, and Man-Thing aren't. Yeah, I think you're fine.
So,
and honestly,
go ahead.
If they're just pumping energy attacks into Groot, I think I'm mostly okay with that. Like, if you just put him in cover, he's not usually going to die in one round. He heals a bunch back. I think you're fine.
Most of the time, if I'm playing at 17, it'd be 2 4s and 3 3s. The other permutation we could make to make a 17 is 2 3 3 4 5.
I like that, but
that'd mean we'd have to drop one of our 3s, so we could only run 5 3s, which is fine. 5 3s and M at 19 is still viable, but we drop 1 3 out of 5. And based on what we just talked about, it would have to be Groot, Encanto, the Blob, and of everyone, I would probably drop Encanto, but he does give us some nice Mystic attacks at the 3 threat level.
Yeah, but you already have. He only has Mystic as a spender, and you already have Emma.
Well, we are running Emma every game. You're right. Okay, so let's drop Encanto, and let's upgrade this with a 5 threat just to give us some options if we want to.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. So you say Ghost Rider, and I look for the 5 threat with grunts.
Oh.
Of which there's only 1.
Is that true? I thought there was multiples. That makes sense.
There are 2. You are correct. So seriously looking at it,
hate me some Red Skull.
I think Red Skull needs a team that's more focused on keeping him alive and moving him, and the team does nothing for him. Whoever this 5 threat ends needs to operate independently. Ooh.
That's why I like Ghost Rider, because he's going to get a bunch of power from your tanks being attacked, like a ton of power. Coming back to life is going to be very live. Healing him over the course of the game. And he's a really good scalpel to go get rid of their problem model. And, if they're just choosing to not attack him, then, he's just punishing them constantly. Not to mention, you could just get in there with Luke Cage and Okoye and keep taunting and force them to attack somebody else. And then he's hitting them with the crit damage back. So that, like, if you hit Blob, right, and then you roll 2 crits, you're taking, 3 damage back just for hitting Blob, and you get pushed? I like that.
I'm not opposed to Ghost Rider. I just want to explore options. Like, Cable is always a super solid 5. Right, it has the terrain throw. Can make my tanky characters survive even more with his defense. Dracula is a super fun model who is not super good unless you're trying to abuse him and say Cabal with Dark Reign or someone who can move him. This doesn't do this, so I'm happy to play him in a non-abusable situation and just see how much fun you can have with Dracula. Like, hey, you can either attack my 5 threat that kills you back or any of my tanky 3s. Choice is yours. Loki, Prince of Lies is always interesting.
I was going to say, Loki would be a really good pick here, too. The only question would be is if he could keep enough power, and he probably could in Hellfire. I'm telling you, I still think the best choice is Ghost Rider.
What about the Mighty Thor?
Mighty Thor. She not getting an extra power on the first turn is not great. She's
what do you mean not getting an extra power the first turn?
Because she can't for Midgard.
Oh, can't Midgard turn 1.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so she basically can't do anything turn 1 other than walk up and swing at range 3 if you walk into her range, which is, a pretty big no-no, but sometimes can be forced to happen.
Yeah, if I've got a hammer on a side and I take the first one, the other one's across from her, and you can't get it and walk backwards, it's going to be a 6 dice hammer strike to the face.
Yeah, I just feel a lot of people are bringing safe extractors right now for that exact reason.
Yeah, I'm not trying to build a meta list, so I just think she would also be really fun to play.
So what does she do for the list other than just be a decent 5-pointer?
That's it.
Okay.
She's got the terrain throw. It would be nice for your 5 threat to be able to throw terrain. That's the one thing Ghost Rider doesn't do. That 4 threat being thrown at you means it's not being thrown at me, etc., etc. If I want to be super meta, then yes, I take a bunch of throws, both terrain and character. And by meta, I just mean competitive. But if I'm bringing a 5 threat, I really think I want it to have a throw.
What about ASM? So his throw is super kitschy and basically irrelevant. But he has witty banter to help protect your little guys. And the leadership on him would be amazing to just continually heal him and give him more power.
I can see the logic there.
He's very proactive. He's very mobile, so he can get to the places you need help. And he's really hard to bring down.
Okay, I'm gonna pick 4, and you're gonna delete 2 of them.
Okay.
ASM, Ghost Rider, Red Skull 2.
I don't know that it really matters, but
okay,
the grunts take damage if they're not on the point, right?
Yeah.
Probably doesn't matter. I feel like if you're doing like a tanky spam list, I always feel if you're going to take an expensive model, they need to be mobile. And so that's just my natural feeling. I don't like Red Skull for that reason. If you can just displace him, so much of your list value goes away.
Okay, so you pick. Who do you...
I think Ghost Rider has the most synergy, but, you could put Namor in there. You could put really anyone who's mobile in here, and I think would be fine. Except for Claw. Don't take Claw. Uluk even could be fun.
You're not wrong.
Looking at Mephisto now. Mephisto would be cute just because you have all the little tanks to throw people at. It's like, oh no, you're hitting that guy over there, and just point at somebody.
Yeah.
I think Doctor Strange would be fine because he can move people around.
Nope.
He shields people. Because I guess the thought process is the plan is to win by scenario, right?
Yeah.
And so I think Strange helps with that.
Yeah, still not happening.
Yeah, I know. You hate Strange. I get it.
In this particular list. I either want to be a super interesting or killy character, or I want a terrain throw. One of the two.
You could put Ebony Maw in. I just don't think he works.
Nope.
Do Ghost Rider.
I don't want Ghost Rider, but if you make me, I'll take him.
Why don't you want Ghost Rider?
No terrain throw.
You don't need a throw on every list.
List, yes. Character, no. I need a reason. When I'm looking at the board setup, and I'm deciding whether to go with the 5 and a 2 versus the 4 and a 3. What is this 5 going to give me that Dynamo and Panther don't give me? That's what I have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I want to bring, like, what do Dynamo and Panther not have? The terrain throw. So if I look at that and I see for whatever reason the need to throw people/terrain, whatever the case may be, like Ghost Rider doesn't give me anything inherently different than Black Panther.
Mm. Well, I'm just thinking of the concept that I'm changing out a 4 and a 3 for a 5 and a 2. I think Ghost Rider is going to be the best fit for that role because you're already bringing a Koei who synergizes very well with Ghost Rider specifically, because you can take hits off of him, getting her killed, which is going to let you do the vengeance back at your opponent. And then later in the game, you can sack her to bring him back if you don't bodyguard or you missed it or whatever happened to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously everyone on your side getting hit constantly by them all being tanks. They're going to get hit more often than most people. And then so he's going to stack up a crazy amount of power every turn combined with the leadership. And then you won't need to throw people. You just walk up and penance stare them.
Okay, we'll put Ghost Rider in. Yeah, no, we won't go through tactics cards and other shit, but it's done.
I think this list looks fun.
Cool.
It's basically the new version of the original Sam Vengers list of Just Never Die.
But also very different from that list.
It's also very different. Obviously, you're playing We Are Groot. I'm just going to point that
out. I'm also playing Highway to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of
you don't need to throw people. You just fucking drive them to hell.
Yep.
You go 12 inches that way, idiot.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you steal my objective? Let me bring you over here and incinerate you. Nice. All right. Did you have anything else you want to chat about?
Not this evening.
Ready to call it? All righty. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed our episode where we build lists for specialty tournaments. This has been Brandon.
And Aaron.
And you've just listened to Aaron Hates the Six.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.
And we are back from here. Nobody went anywhere this time.
Nope. People are just being pansies.
Yeah. I sent Jeremy and Jason a Facebook marketplace listing for a Chiefs bus for a very affordable rate, and they have not messaged me back yet. So weird. It's like they don't want to go in on a collective bus.
Hashtag unfriend for life.
Pretty much. I mean, I haven't talked to Jeremy since.
Nor should you.
Yeah. Which is why he's not here today.
Does Parker have an excuse?
Parker doesn't have season tickets with me. And so I offer him tickets occasionally, but given that he doesn't go to all the games, it'd be odd for him to go halvesies on a bus. But I mean, I would expect him to chip
not
in.
Being here today, though.
Oh no, Parker's going to play in my D&D game on Friday, so he's a busy boy. And then he got poached to talk Judge Mans, so he can't be here. Yeah, I mean, I think really the problem is that he's also going to go play Marvel Rivals for 10 hours this week, and that's why he can't be here.
Mm-hmm. I played Path of Exile for 75 hours in the past week, and I'm still here.
That's true.
So,
but your
fuck,
children's are grown, I think is the term. They watch themselves.
His children watch themselves too. I have 2 kids in the house. He has 2 kids in the house. They both need love, admiration, and support. I don't see the fucking problem, Parker.
Wrong, yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just, I don't know. I bought a new printer today.
I think you have a problem. I think it's official.
I'm planning on selling some of my older printers now.
Mm-hmm.
So
just I keep planning on selling some of my old models I don't use, but See how quickly
Well,
that's happening.
it's. I definitely want to sell them. It's now just motivation to make the listing, and so I don't think that'll be too bad. I'm just in the mode of getting the new ones set up right now, so I'm not messing with posting the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the new one's supposed to do multicolor, so
Ooh,
and also just be better. But we'll see. So far, it's been a shithead, but I think it's mostly that it's these little things like you do things in the wrong order and it causes problems. I had an old bad roll of filament and I put it in to run, and so I fed in bad filament, not realizing it was the bad roll. And then as soon as I started getting problems, I realized immediately it was the bad roll. But now it's got bad filament like in the system, and I haven't had time to mess with it since.
got it.
I got a cheap roll. Which is funny because like they say all the cheap stuff's made in China, but like all the Chinese rolls I get are fine. It's the ones I got that were made in America that have problems. And so these are made in Florida, and they were probably on bath salts when they made them. It has an inconsistent diameter, and so it basically will go normal thickness plastic wire into glob, and then that's what's causing a lot of problems.
Okay.
You excited for the Super Bowl?
No.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
I mean,
to say.
do you want me to lie to you?
I'm very excited. We're still like very far away, and I'm very excited.
I mean, is it wrong that I 28.3% wanted the Chiefs to lose so I didn't have to go to Super Bowl party?
I mean, you don't have to go to a Super Bowl party.
You don't understand.
We just talked about how you're. We just talked about how you're your own person, and now all of a sudden you got to go to a fucking football party.
I do have to go to a football party. Yes.
Hear me out. Tell her you agreed to come to my football party because it won't be lame, and also there's game stuff here.
Okay, that's on the table. I'll consider that. I might work on the phrasing a little bit, but I'll get the point across.
All the new stuff I can think about is Judgment related. I assume we're not supposed to talk about Judgment.
Not supposed to. We can.
Went to the Judgment tournament over the weekend.
You did. I was surprised and happy about that.
Well, I was going to go up on Friday because Jake was going to be there, and then he was going to give me money that he owed me for the football game. And then Jake was like, I'll just leave it with EJ. I was like, well, now I have no reason to go to the store today, but I feel like I have to go one of the 2 days. And so I decided to go on Saturday.
Did you enjoy your time?
I enjoyed my games very much.
And you played Kenny. That says a lot.
I know. Well, it was mostly nice to just play circles around him and then have him get frustrated. No, I think our game was really good. Probably the best of the 3 games that I played because it was very back and forth. I just don't know what Cradle does, and so like I had no way to know what she was going to do that ended up winning him the game.
You're still on your exploring and learning
fine.
The game phase.
Yeah, like I didn't know. I thought that she could only move herself.
Sure.
And it was just one of those things like you just gotta learn, right?
Yep. Like,
but
she can do that, huh? Okay.
Yeah. And in hindsight, I probably could have made different decisions, and there was definitely stuff I could have done better. Like the way I played Zanja in turn 2 or 3, I think it was. I kind of decided to kill a Canuck mare that spawned in the middle of the table that he gave me, and then use second wind to back away. And so basically, I just got a fade advantage on him. Instead of I could have just triple moved her into position to threaten Zarin, and that would have probably turned the game on its head. And then I also made the mistake of recalling Kogan when I shouldn't have, because he was basically doing an FG dive, and I let him attack Kogan when I shouldn't have.
Okay, fair enough.
But it ended up working out because Kogan killed Cradle and got away. So, I mean, it worked. It was risky, and I shouldn't have done it. But it came down to the reason I lost was freaking Cruel had 3 souls on him, and he failed to harvest back-to-back rolls with a fate into the following turn. He failed again, and so he got it with the second reroll. So it took him 4 attempts to harvest the same soul. And if that had just happened the previous turn, he would have been completely safe and recalled. But instead, he got to Shadow Step or Shadow Mist Token place Skull, who then walked up and Spirit Bombed me. And so that killed Cruel. He actually had to then charge me because it didn't actually kill me. But anyway, that was a fun game. And then my game against you, I just got lost sight of the Soul game a little bit, I think.
Yep.
And then I got to play Jason in the third round, who's always a nice opponent. I got to learn what most of the Gruul things do. Never played against Gruul before.
Yeah, I'll probably see a lot of them in the future. I think they're hugely popular and hugely good.
How are things going in the path?
They're going well. I continue to explore new avenues for my character to develop and new ways to play the game and engage with endgame. So, without going into specifics, still well.
Nice. Should probably save this for the podcast. I keep waiting for Jeremy to come back to the podcast. I started watching The Ones Who Live, the Walking Dead after show.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to him about it because he said he was also watching that. Have you watched it?
I have not. We still need to finish the actual Walking Dead with my wife and kid.
Oh, you never finished it?
Nope, because my wife works 1,000 hours a week, so
Mm-hmm.
time is rough sometimes.
How far did you guys get?
I think we're in season 10.
Okay.
We're damn near finished. We will finish shortly because the early spring tends to be one of her downtimes. So we should be able to get a bunch of watching in. Although she keeps interrupting it with other stuff. Like we just watched Squid Game. Or Games, whatever the fuck it's called. I have no fucking clue how that took off as a cult phenomenon. It is so fucking bad. Fucking
it's like Tiger
shoot
King.
myself.
Yeah, it just happened like during the COVID period, and everybody was like used to watching Netflix, and it was just the weirdest thing on that nobody had seen. So
Yeah, but whatever.
It's a combination of like you've already seen everything on Netflix that all interests you, and then something new pops up, and so everyone starts watching because they all want new content, and it was just like everyone's watching it at the same time, so there was something to talk about.
Okay.
I also agree it was hugely overhyped. I watched the whole first season. It was fine. The dubbing is a little annoying at first. But again, like the characters are so over the top and like unrealistic that it's hard to take seriously. It's supposed to be very dramatic, but I can't take it seriously when the characters are like so obviously like fictional characters that would never really exist.
Yeah, I hated almost everything about it.
Mm. Have you watched anything recently that you did like?
I am watching a Paramount Plus series called something.
Is it Landman?
No.
Okay. I don't know if that's Paramount Plus, but everyone's talking about that. I want to see that too.
I think it is, and I definitely do not want to see that.
You don't want to see Landman?
No.
You don't like Billy Bob?
Not especially, although I am not a Billy Bob hater. I am definitely not a fan of Yellowstone.
Okay.
And I watched Yellowstone and the two spin-offs. 1883 was by far the best.
Yeah.
But Yellowstone is just a fucking daytime soap opera. That's all it fucking is, and I can't stand it. I have no clue why people love this. And Landman is just the exact same thing set in Oklahoma. Like, no fucking thank you. Anyway, the show I'm watching is called Joe Pickett.
Joe Pickett. I don't think I've heard of that.
It's about a game ranger in Montana.
Okay.
And it's just a, 10 to 12 episode series per season. There's only 2 out, I think, about his move there. And there's obviously one big thing that happens each season, right? Like this hunter is murdered, or we have to figure out who killed these deer. And it sounds fucking stupid, but there's actually some character development and realism to the show that, the soap opera Yellowstone doesn't come close to touching.
Okay.
It's not completely grounded in reality, don't get me wrong, but I have found it to be a better show. So that's what I'm watching right now.
Cool.
While I walk on the treadmill.
I've been kind of switching between The Ones Who Live Free Ren on Crunchyroll, which is, are you familiar with that anime?
No.
It's kind of unique. So it's a typical fantasy genre of there's these 4 heroes that form an adventuring party and go fight the Dark Lord, right? And they trying to defeat the Demon King, or whatever the hell he's called. But in this one, it takes place 200 years after when they've killed him. And so, but the main character, Frieren, was the mage of the party, and she's an elf, so she's just still alive, and she's like middle aged, and it's just like, now what? So it's called Firin After Journey's End, and so she's just like this hugely famous, powerful mage that's like semi-retired, and she just kind of wanders around and has interactions with people, and so it's just very different than a lot of the other shows. And so I'm like halfway through that. I think it's only like one season, but I haven't really looked into it. It's been kind of cool. And then the other show I've been watching is Bleach: 1,000-Year Blood War Season 3, which is kind of being slowly released over the year. I imagine Path of Exile is probably eaten into your TV watching time a bit.
I only ever watch TV when I'm doing something else. I rarely sit down and watch TV. So when I finished painting every model I owned, that cut into my TV watching time a lot.
That's fair. Because you had like scheduled it, right? You're like, I have until this day to get all my stuff painted.
I had goals. I don't know that I had a schedule.
Are you going to take a break now that there's new Judgment models out?
Take a break from Path of Exile?
From not painting.
Oh, from not painting. I haven't decided when I'm going. I just built them all yesterday. I haven't decided, and by all I mean the 3 of them. So realistically, that's a day of painting, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I haven't decided if I just want to knock that out. I will probably wait until I get bored with Path of Exile, and want a 2-day break from that, and then I'll watch 16 hours of TV while I paint a couple models.
Cool.
Although playing Path of Exile has been great because there's a whole local community that plays. Like, I'm not just playing solo the entire time.
Yeah.
I'll play with Chad and Kenny and Nigel and some of Chad's friends, and we'll just all be online shooting this shit while we play video games. So it's pretty cool. So it's more of a social hangout zone than just playing a video game.
I probably need to get signed up for Adepticon.
Only if you want to go.
Yeah. I've just been busy and haven't really wanted to put mental effort into it. I don't know what I'm going to play yet, but if I do go, it'd probably end up being Judgment, just because it'd be easy to bring with me.
Mm-hmm. I think I opted for Blood Bowl on Thursday and Judgment Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's only because I abhor the 3v3 version of the Judgment game.
Is it that bad?
It's
just not for you.
It's a personal thing, yes.
I remember last year Jeremy's effigy got eaten by a monster on like the second turn.
It did.
He was not very happy.
They changed that interaction, but Jeremy's still not a fan of 3s.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess when it comes to the tournament, my biggest frustration with the game right now is just how long it takes to play, which I think it's fair because like I'm still learning too, so there's like a lot of questions I'll have during the game, but it definitely feels, it just feels like it.
Go ahead.
When it comes to like the tournament setting, it just feels like it drags. And like I know I played a 4-hour game with Jeremy once, like just because we were both, I was learning, and like it was just a drag out. Like we got to the point where we were both like, if we move forward, we die, and so like nobody came forward. It was really hard to move forward with the game, which is just odd.
So the LVO Invitational had, I don't know how many games. Only I think 1 or 2 came down to time. And just for the listeners, 55 minutes per chess clock is what they use in Judgment, as opposed to 40 in MCP. So you're talking an extra half an hour. And the vast majority, probably 75 to 80% of the games, were done with about 30 minutes left on both people's clocks.
Yeah.
So of an hour and 40 minutes, the actual gameplay took about 40. So I want to say...
Part of it actually for me is because like your game could end in 30 minutes. Like my 3rd round game at the tournament, I think we had only used like 25 minutes of our combined clocks.
Yeah.
So it was like the game was very early, and it just happened that we just had like a bloodbath in the middle, which was kind of fun.
Yep.
But then it was just like, it actually helped me because I had somewhere that I had to go. But it was just like, it's just so crazy that the game can be difference of 30 minutes to like close to 2 hours.
You're not wrong.
And like with the setup of the board, which is a little bit more than there is in MCP, I would say, just because like you have to set up the monsters and choose board side and like, do the bannings. And so as a newer player, that will obviously take me longer than most people.
Ooh, but I want to say that the setup is about the same. I've known MCP players to go into the tank for about 15 minutes, figuring like, who am I going to pick for this deployment?
Mm-hmm. I would actually say it's kind of the opposite then for Judgment to MCP, because in MCP, the more you know, the longer it takes because there's a lot
Yeah.
more back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And in Judgment, I think the more you know, the quicker it is
Yeah.
because a lot of the choices you have are very fundamental. They're not really minutia ones because the characters are so intermixable. It's not like, oh, well, what if he plays Thanos? That's a completely different game. It's like, yeah, each model they can take will affect the game, but it's more like, well, if I ban this Soul Harvester, he'll just take this one. Or if he doesn't have a second one, it's just we're playing a game without a Soul Harvester. And so it's a lot more like fundamental choices opposed to like very specific ones.
Yeah, the pick ban process normally takes 10 seconds.
Yeah. And for me, like I said, for a newer player, like I'm still like trying to, okay, what is this monster pit? And I have to pick it up and see what it can spawn.
Yeah.
And then I roll and I have to look over to the side and go, okay, that's going to be 1, 2, this guy. Then I put it. And so it just takes longer because I'm still learning.
Sure.
But
I just wanted to point out, I think it is mostly a learning thing and not a.
No, right now, like I was saying,
100%.
like I felt like I had plenty of time to play all of my games. And there was a time against Kenny where I think I just spent 15 minutes on my clock like asking him questions about his models, like just to figure out what I needed to do. And even without that, I would have had 20 something minutes left on my time. Like it's very achievable. That's why I was thinking that it just seemed a little long. And it's not a negative thing at the game. It's just a preference I have of like, I think a 5 model game should play faster than that. But
Sure.
I've always been play faster in my brain.
I'm going to agree that I think Judgment would be great if it was 20 minutes shorter on average. However, that's a nitpick. Right, I'm not going to start to suggest rules changes to make that happen. I just think in a vacuum that would be great, but I will still love and play the game as it is.
Yeah, because it's just thinking if we end up going to a 4-round tournament and out of 16 players, 8 tables around, someone's probably going to go close to time. And so it just ends up being that it's basically that's a 2-hour round. And so if we're trying to do 4 rounds plus a lunch break, it ends up being like a 9-hour day just to play 4 rounds of Judgment. It just seems a bit much. And again, that hasn't happened yet, so it's not a complaint. It's just
you're not wrong though. You definitely have to plan for the max allotted time.
Yeah, and that's really it. It's
yeah.
Because there's no round limit. You really have to take into account that the games could go on. Like it's like just imagine if you played a 10-round game of MCP. Like it's just not a fair statement to like, oh, I ended in 3 rounds. Like yeah, that's why your game was a quarter of the time ours was. Because the longer it goes, the more you have to think about moves because it's getting closer and closer as the game continues. Anyway.
Yeah, I found Judgment games end like you'll know before the round starts. Like the game's ending this turn, something's happening.
Yeah.
So
That's
games
been my
can take a
experience
while to build up, and then they end in a flash.
Yeah, that's been my experience in most games. The only game that wasn't like that was my second game against Jeremy, and like I said, we just got this weird back and forth. We kept killing the models with souls. And so we basically got to the 3-2, 3-3 situation where we were both like, well, if you move to this soul pit, I'm going to kill you, and then you'll lose the game. And you're like, well, I can't go there then. And we were just like full bear ready to kill each other, but we were just out of attack range, and neither of us had like ranged models, and so it was just a weird game. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and jump into Mojo World for this week. We're going to do road trip snacks. Do you want to pick just 3 each, or do you want to go each pick 2 sets? We do that usually when there's only 2 of us,
Sure,
but we don't have to.
We can do 2 sets.
All right. Do you want first pick?
I'll take first pick on the first set.
Okay. All right.
Number 1 is beef jerky. Hands down.
Beef jerky. That's a good pick. Very good pick. All right. So, since we're getting specific here, because you can't just say chips, my favorite go-to road trip snack is the Fritos barbecue twists. Are you familiar with those?
No.
Not actual Fritos, but it's made by Fritos, and so it's like an alternate. And it looks like little like rotini pasta, so they're just like twists that have barbecue seasoning on them. But the reason I like those is because they don't go stale in the car. Like if you open a bag of chips, and like by the time you get 4 hours on the road, like they're basically stale and gross. And they're also not greasy because they're not like deep fried. And so I'm going to go, it's a Frito barbecue twist. And then I got another one. Let's see. Let's say gum.
Okay.
Back to you. You got 2.
We're going to take Chex Mix and Twizzlers.
Oh, fuck. I forgot Twizzlers. God damn it.
Yeah, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made.
That was a good get. All right. Go with pistachios. Just plain pistachios. A little bit of salt. That's all you need.
It's
You like pistachios?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like
thought you were gonna say no. All right. Then my first pick of list 2. Sweet Tarts.
There's a hot miss.
Miss? You don't like Sweet Tarts?
Not especially.
I like really sugary treats. I don't know why. Back to you.
Gardettos.
Are those the like bagel toast things?
Yep.
Those are good.
They make a Chex Mix style variety bag that's pretty damn good.
Okay.
We've gone through most of my normal.
Yeah, I know.
Normal
Goes
car road
quick.
trips. Let's do Skittles.
Skittles was on my short list.
Not short enough, apparently.
So this doesn't count for the list, but what's your favorite flavor or like bag flavor?
Anything with berry in it.
Okay, so like wild berry or tropical.
Yep. Wild berry would be my favorite.
Yeah, that's right. He's got it. He knows. All right. I'm gonna try and take it home here. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go with Munchies. You know Munchies?
No.
It's basically a pre-mixed bag of mixed chips, and so it's like pretzel sticks, Doritos, Sun chips, and there's another kind of chip in there. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, it's basically just a mixed bag of chips, and they're all cheesy flavored, and so they're nice. Cool. But it's nice because there's variety, and you're not just eating the same thing over and over again. Uh-oh, I've now forgotten my other one. Shit. Oh, I had it. Damn it. I have to make up something. We'll go with Pringles.
Mike and Ike's. No, I take it back.
Taking it back.
Taking it back. Peach rings.
Oh.
Just had to think, what do I actually go and buy at Walmart or grocery store? Peach rings with a honorable mention of blue sharks. Ooh, and a double honorable mention of Swedish fish.
I'll accept any of those. Peach rings, though, no. Hard pass on peach rings.
Oh, every time.
I think basically anything gummy other than peach rings I'm in.
Oh.
I guess I don't really hate peach rings. You know what I don't like, though? I found out at Costco one day, they're doing samples, and they had mango jerky. It's like mango chunks that they've put through like beef jerky dehydration.
Uh-huh.
And it looked really good. I was like, oh man, I bet that's got a lot of flavor to it. And I grab a piece, I bite into it, and I like immediately look for somewhere to spit it out. The flavor was fine, but dear God, the texture. It was like eating zombie flesh. It was so disgusting. It was like stringy and chewy and tough and gross. Oh, it was terrible. It's like you just couldn't chew it enough to get it to break down. It was just leather. And oh my God, but it tasted like mango. So it tasted fine, but God, the texture was horrid. And I like went back to the lady. I'm like, what is this? And she's like, oh. I was like, no, stop giving this to people. Okay. Man, I still can't remember what my other one was. It's just gone. Do you count Slurpees? Is that a food?
No. Sure. You can quasi crunch on it.
No, that's fine. I'll leave it at Pringles. Did you see the season 2 of, I think it's 1923 is coming out?
I saw that, yeah. I will watch that.
Oh, nice. I assumed you were out.
I'm pot committed.
Yeah, that's fair. But not on Yellowstone?
I will watch part 2 of season 5 whenever it becomes available.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I've seen season 5 yet. I've heard that somebody leaves the show, and I heard that was for like offset reasons that were really stupid. I don't know. I guess I'll see at some point. I do want to watch the rest of it. But yeah, if he's leaving, then I'm way less interested in watching the show. I definitely still need. Is it 1823? Is that the previous one?
Yes. You should watch
I
that one.
definitely
That one is
need.
legitimately good.
It's high up on my list. I don't have Paramount Plus, so watching it's a chore.
Sure.
Oh, I think I've got my dice, my spin down dice I'm printing to a acceptable place. I'll bring it up to the store tomorrow so you can see them.
Cool.
They actually fit in the trays now. Are you coming to the store tomorrow?
I will not be. I have my tryout game for the U.S. National Blood Bowl team tomorrow evening.
Nice. Are you expecting to make the team?
Expecting is a strong word. I think I was probably 6th or 7th on the team of 8 last year. Like if we're talking strictly, skill to win. So it depends on who else is throwing their name in the ring for the 2025 team, and where the coach wants to go. What direction wants to take with respect to who, which styles of play. So
yeah, because unlike World Cup, there's only one team on the off years, right? Yeah.
Yes. Every country gets to bring one team. So I would say I'm expecting it, but I would not be shocked if I did not make the team.
Optimistic.
Yeah, we can call it that. Realistic optimism, without an expectation. How about that?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Who are you playing against for your trial game? Is it the coach or?
Nope, one of the other prospective players.
What team are you playing?
I'm playing Chaos Chosen, which I haven't played in a hot minute, well over a year. I've only played them 3 times ever. I just decided to pick them up for the tryouts for funds, I guess.
So obviously, if you were to make the team, then there's a lot of discussion around like what teams everybody's going to play, right? Like, is there a strategy of like we need a certain diversity or?
Every team will organize differently. I'm sure some teams will have a get together and decide amongst themselves who the 8 best teams are for this particular tournament structure, and then divvy up those 8 teams amongst themselves. Other teams will simply pick the 8 best players and then say, play what you want.
Can't duplicate, right?
Yeah, correct. Cannot duplicate teams. So I think the U.S. is leaning more towards the latter. At least last year, we were able to swap teams around after we made the team. Obviously people were like, hey, I think I want to play X. And then there were a couple of people who swapped in the months leading up to list lock. There are obviously some teams that people think are better than others, and are probably correct in their thinking. But I don't know that there's a given top 8, if you will.
Right.
There might be 3 to 4 that we will have within our team, and then after that, there's 10 or 12 viable teams that I think could be taken.
Because there was a lot of controversy about the new packet for this year, right? There
were a lot of people who did not like it.
Was that just temporary, or is that still people were?
They did not change the packet significantly, so I'm assuming the people who didn't like it before still don't like it now.
Maybe they came around.
Yeah, right. Because human beings, human beings are so rational.
Yeah, people not in a group can realize they're wrong. People in a group tend to not do that. For example, like back when War Machine was first going to pre-measure, I was super against it. And I played one game with it. I said, I've never been more wrong in my entire life, and we should have been doing this the whole fucking time. So what made you choose Chosen?
I think they have a good build for it. And I really like how I painted my team and have rarely had an opportunity to play with them.
Oh, so it's not an online thing, you're playing in person.
No, I'm playing online.
Oh.
I didn't say my reasoning was rational in any way, shape, or form.
You'll be thinking of them. They'll be sitting on the table next to you while you're playing on the computer.
Basically, yes.
Okay. That's funny.
I thought so. I'm 1 win and 2 ties so far through 3 rounds.
The biggest point of this... Oh, because it's not just a single game. There's like a tournament of tryouts.
Yes, it is a tournament format. And I think the coaches... so all the games are recorded. He's going back and watching the games to not just see the win-loss records, but why. Like, what decisions are you making in the game? Yeah. What's your play style? To get a better feel for, the players. And he did an amazing job last year, so...
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah. Hopefully it continues.
So if I remember correctly, the rules for this year discourage you buying the same skill over and over again?
They don't discourage; they flat out ban it.
Right.
So yeah.
Is it because you only really want to put skills on your chosen that you thought it was a good build, or
No, so there are 6 different tiers,
Mhm.
and each tier gets you more gold and more points to give your team. Chosen are tier 5.
Mhm.
That lets you do something called stack skills, which is give a player 2 skills twice. So tier 3 teams can do it once, tier 5 teams can do it twice. So I thought there was probably some interesting synergies there.
because you have 2 of your chosen have two new skills.
Right, 2 chosen get or beastmen, like you pick.
True.
So the thing that sucks is they don't start with block, right? So there are
Mhm.
basically no skills in the entire team. What if they got 4 extra skills for free? How does that make them? I was like, oh, hold on. Beer, hold. Let me think. There's a lot of other things to like about the team. Like the blockers are agility 3. All the beastmen have horns.
Mhm.
So I got to give, like, orcs get, for, I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but say orcs get 6 skills. Chosen get 10. And an additional reroll above and beyond what the orcs get. And both teams at the end of the day have the exact same amount of block.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that seems to me like the playing field hath been leveled.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
still think orcs are a great team for this in this build set, but just goes to show how the tournament structure is leveling the playing field a bit. Not everywhere, but in this particular instance, I think Chaos Chosen have a legitimate chance to be in the top 8.
Nice. Yeah, anytime you can discourage people from just spamming the same skill on their whole team is probably a good thing.
Yep. There are some teams that screws over horribly.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
Chaos
because
Dwarves.
and for just as an example for the old system, if you had, let's say, a Norse team, and they basically all come with block, and then you wanted to apply block to like your Yeti, in new format you wouldn't be allowed to do that. As opposed to the old format you could.
Correct.
Yeah.
And by old format, we mean every other tournament of Blood Bowl that's existed in the history of the Earth.
Yeah, the past.
Yeah, that's why this is so controversial.
It's hard
it upends kind of the status quo, just a little bit, but it like massive upheaval.
Yeah, people, this is how Blood Bowl works, and you're like, okay, maybe relax.
Yeah, like let's play Norse, and you can't block your Ulfwereners. You're like, that's not how I want to play Norse. Like tough shit. Then you don't get to play them until people up in arms. Like you can't put block on your Chaos Dwarf Bull Centaurs. Like, what do I do with my Strength 4 piece? It needs to blitz you. Wrestle?
What if you just don't take any black or Chaos Dwarf blockers?
So you're just playing Bull Centaurs and Hobgoblins?
And Hobgoblins, yeah.
Yeah.
But I got block on my Bull Centaurs.
It's really bad. So I do give the organizers super kudos for thinking outside the box. Nothing says Norse. So first of all, Norse is still really good because they come with so much block that other teams cannot get now. I personally will not be playing them because I have no desire to play, an entire year's worth of training with this build that I can't actually play Norse the way I want to play them, if that kind of makes sense. Even if it's good for this tournament structure. Chaos Dwarves are just bad. But that's okay. Like, they don't have to be good in every tournament.
Well, yeah, because they've been crazy good for a long time due to this weird gimmicky thing that they have this random positional that's just nuts when you pile skills on it.
Yep. So I support the tournament organizers. I like what they're doing. And we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the podcast. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about that's not MCP related.
Nope.
Yeah. Right.